Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, May 15th, and it has been an eventful week. We got the consumer price numbers, which were inflationary. We got the producer price numbers, which are even higher, also inflationary. And of course, we have President Trump's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping, which I want to talk about today. As those of you who watch this channel know that I've studied history. I am a historian, a classical historian. That's my focus, Greek and Roman history. And I'll tell you something. What was unique about Trump's trip to China is in Henry Kissinger's book on China, he said that when they were meeting, when Nixon and Kissinger, they were doing all that opening to China stuff, every time they met, they would bring up Taiwan. Kissinger really let it be known that is their primary focus, even though ironically Beijing has never controlled Taiwan, really. It's been controlled by a bunch of different actors in that whole area. But what was interesting about this is that President Xi Jinping warned Trump, like the first day they met, your position on Taiwan will create friction and conflict, basically. So it's very rare for a leader to warn another leader so publicly, and the Chinese press put that out in a readout. And I know I talk about this a lot. And I've been talking about it for years. And I remember in ancient history, Cato the Elder, used to always say, Carthago delinda est. Every time he was in the Senate, he would finish every speech with Carthago delinda est, which meant Carthage must be destroyed because Carthage had been such a threat to Rome and it killed so many of their people, the flower of their youth, Hannibal, etc. I have become like Cato the Elder, except Taiwan must be defended. And the reason I say that, and the reason I have been saying that for years, and I will say it again until I'm blue in the face, as my mom used to say. My mom used to say, you could talk to your blue in the face. It's not going to change my mind. The reason I say that is this. The AI race is based on semiconductors, right? We all know this, right? Advanced semiconductors. You own shares in Nvidia, or this one or that, they all come from Taiwan, okay? So Taiwan has the ball on that stuff. So if China were to take Taiwan, basically they would own the tech stack. It would destroy our tech industry. It'd be over. It'd be done. We would be begging. China would take all those chips and move them to China, right? They would just change the direction of the tap, and that would be a disaster. So it's very interesting to watch the president warn our president. Now, to his credit, Trump, when they asked him about the comments, he said the meeting was great, everything was great, et cetera, et cetera. But you get the sense that Trump went there with all these business leaders. You get the sense that it's trying to breach a relationship. Think about the relationships you've had, romantic relationships in your life. Once there's like a real breach of trust, it's really hard to go back to the original thing. So bringing all those business people to China just didn't seem, compared to Xi Jinping's message, where it was all Taiwan warning the United States. It was a warning. Make no mistake about it. It was a warning to the president, to our president. Make no mistake about it. But bringing business leaders, it seems like it's hard to go back to the way things were. Now, we have every reason in the world, and I get it. It's why would we even consider defending Taiwan? I talked about the fact that Taiwan makes all of the advanced semiconductors, super advanced semiconductors that make our F-35 fly, that run our AI, that run Claude, that run ChatGPT, all that stuff. So imagine a scenario where China took Taiwan and basically said, we're not giving you chips. We're going to give chips to everybody, every country on earth who agrees with our takeover, okay? And any country that doesn't agree with our takeover, we're going to keep them for ourselves, okay? That's what we're going to do. So we're not going to give you chips. Now, if China took Taiwan, they would control the tap on a resource that has become as critical to our national security and our prosperity as oil. It's modern day oil. So really, it's interesting. I did not expect, I think a lot of folks did not expect the warning to come. Usually the warning comes in the readout. It's not said from one to another, certainly not on the first day. So Xi Jinping is raising the temperature of this. This is a ratcheting up of warning. And it reminds me of Sam Papero, Admiral Sam Papero, former Pacific Admiral. And he was saying that there's a window, him and Davidson referred to this Davidson window, where by next year, they predicted that China would attack Taiwan. The countdown to that, we've been talking about Mag 7 spending. We've been talking about the bull market. When does the bull market end? But I'll tell you something. When you think about this window, when you think about the risks, what's unique about this week in history is this is a week where the risks have gone up. And we discussed this at length in Midnight in America. Our report, we laid out 5 massive risks. Those risks have not been itching too much. But make no mistake about it, this week, middle of May, those risks went up. And that is going to change a lot. And I will talk about the financial side of this on Monday. But it was a very sobering meeting, and it has left me in a very thoughtful and reflective mood that you should be aware of too if you're an investor. So we're going to be talking about how to hedge or how to deal with what if there was a conflict over Taiwan. What would that mean for us? How would we position our portfolios for that? Because it would have significant implications. Wake up one day and the market would be down 20%. And again, at the beginning of great power wars, markets go down 30% basically. They tend to rally, and they rally better for the victor. But if we lost Taiwan, it wouldn't go back up because our tech industry would be destroyed. Anyway, I hate to leave you with such thoughts on before you head into the weekend, but this is something that the body politic here that we have to talk about. And the media is not really, Wall Street seems to have a real big blind spot on this still. They're not really understanding some of the risks here. 2 of the 5 biggest risks, the actual biggest of the 5 that I mentioned in Midnight in America, those risks raised up this weekend. So this is significant. Anyway, that's all I have. Have a wonderful weekend. I will speak to you on Monday.